Here we go. Hello, Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk. Good Lord, I'm all over the place. On every Sunday here at noon on Facebook, and then I post it up to, no, not on Facebook. Where the hell am I? YouTube. On YouTube, and then I post it up on Facebook. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up, click on that, and it will have all of the therapists in your area. Okay, what was I saying? This video is for educational. I got that. If you need a therapist, got that. Views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other damn therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka done. Hello, Long Beach. All right, I literally just flew back in from Minneapolis, so I'm all over the place. Hey, UK, how you doing? All right, so what am I talking about? I am talking about upcoming events first. I want to get all the announcements out of the way. I want to thank everybody that was at the Minneapolis event. Thank you so much. We sold out. It was awesome. Thank you guys so much. I got this amazing mug. I want to show it from Heather. Thank you. Thank you, Heather. It's way cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And another person gave me a pink elephant, and another one gave me a little collie dog. So thank you. That was very sweet of you. You guys don't need to do that, but thank you. So anyway, all right. Hello from Carlsbad. Hey, so you guys were amazing. I just want to say thank you to everybody who participated in Minneapolis. And this is what I do. When I go to each city, I encourage you guys to exchange emails and connect so that you guys have got your own little support network, because it's so much easier to connect to somebody else who's already been there, done that, than it is to try to find a support group and worry about, okay, are there trolls? Are there narcissists in it, et cetera, et cetera. And yes, guys, when you go to look for support groups, oftentimes they will be infiltrated by narcissists. So be aware, be very vigilant. So anyway, Minneapolis was amazing. Had a great time. Suzanne and I had a hoot. We went and ate our way across the city. Shh, don't tell Jess. And it was fantastic. It was just fantastic. And then we took a stroll down Summit Avenue and looked at all the pretty houses, and I drooled, and Susanna was pulling me along going, come on. So anyway, it was amazing. I loved it. I love Minneapolis. I want to go back. So if you guys want me back, let my manager know. In fact, while I'm on that topic, if you guys want me to visit any place, please contact Chris at Mercury, MURCURI.com. Chris is spelled CHRIS. Chris at Mercury.com. Let him know where you want me to appear, because I am happy to travel and I am happy to go to Canada. So we had 3 people from Canada and 2 from Des Moines, and they came from all over. So, you know, if you guys want me in your state or your city, let Chris at Mercury.com know. And when we get enough people in one metropolitan area, I will fly out. And if that's Canada, I'll go. If it's the UK, I'll go, because I'm all about the travel. All right, so upcoming events. Anaheim, we have 4 tickets left. So if you guys are interested in seeing me and Susanna, get on to Eventbrite. Go to Eventbrite, get those 4 tickets. San Francisco and San Jose are going to be at the end of August. If you guys are interested in seeing me in San Jose or San Francisco, again, Eventbrite. If we do not have enough people signed up by the 1st of August, I'm going to cancel it, because again, I need to have at least 10 people to make it worth the while to fly out there. So, because I've got to fly from Phoenix. So, all right, Reno, we are going up there regardless, because we got family, so we're going to go visit. So Reno is on, and Reno's got tickets left. Austin has got tickets left. San Antonio has got tickets left. The cruise, so we've got 5 cabins left, so for up to 10 people. So that's what Chris has done. So, all right. Where was I? All right. So all the announcements, got all that. All right. So today's topic is, how does inconsistent parenting affect the kids? All right. Inconsistent parenting affects the kids in a huge, huge way. So it's attachment. So kids learn how to attach based on how the parents treat them and are consistent or not with them. Now we are delving into the realm of attachment theory. So attachment theory is either the kid has got a secure attachment. So a secure attachment is, you know, mom and dad are there. Mom and dad are consistent. Mom and dad show up. Mom and dad feed them. Mom and dad shelter them. Mom and dad take care of them. Mom and dad are, you know, normal. relatively speaking. They're consistent, they're sane, they're healthy, they're happy. They comfort the child when the child is needing comforting or soothing. They are there to protect them. They take them to soccer games. They do all the typical things that typical, normal, healthy being the key word, parents do. So here's the deal. Oh, I forgot to do my little, okay, if you are interested in books, I want to talk about books. So these are available on Audible, and I do the narration, and also on Amazon. So there, you can either get a hard copy of it or you can get it on Audible. Also, Susanna's book is free. I believe it's on Amazon. So her book is called You're Still That Girl. And if you have not read Shahida Arabi's book, for the love of God and all that's holy, get her book. It's amazing. I love it. I love her. She's amazing. So it's called Healing the Adult Children of Narcissists. So if you've had a narcissistic parent, which is what we're going to be talking about today, this is your book. So, all right. So attachment. Okay. So when a kid has a healthy attachment, they feel safe, they feel comfortable, they feel secure, they know they can go to that parent and that parent will always be there, right? All right. When a parent is a narcissist, malignant into borderline, unavailable, not in touch with the kid, the whole thing, the kid learns very quickly that it's not safe to turn to that parent. So the attachment becomes an insecure attachment. So an insecure attachment is when the parent is sometimes there and then sometimes not, sometimes there, sometimes not. So there's all sorts. There's avoidant attachment. So when the kid just learns that mom or dad or both are unreliable, unable to be around, not somebody they can trust, they avoid. They become fearful and avoidant. And so they avoid relationships. This kind of, it kind of plays into the question that I had during last night's talk that I did on, schizoid personality disorder. Somebody was like, well, is it nature? Is it nurture? Is it, whatever? I think schizoid is more nature than nurture. But when somebody has an insecure attachment and they're fearful and avoidant, they're going to isolate themselves. They're not going to want to be around people because they have learned very quickly that mom or dad or both are unreliable and dangerous. So especially if the parental unit, the caregiver, is punishing, like, so the kid is crying and needs soothing. Oh, just buck it up, kid. You can pull yourself up by your boot heels, or whatever the hell they say. You know what I'm saying? So you want to take a look at what the attachment is. Now, what we face as survivors, men and women, okay, and we have kids involved. If the parent that is abusive, okay, if they are inconsistent or if the kids are being forced to have visits with them, that child is going to have a huge amount of fear, okay? This is why I say if you're going to divorce, you really need to take a good, long, hard look at 50-50 custody, because if you think there is abuse going on in any way, shape, or form, you need to fight that. You need to. Your kids need you. Your kids need you to. And I hear people go, but I don't have the money. Well, that is very much a concern, because abusers bankrupt us physically, mentally, emotionally, and fiscally, and they try to keep it so that we can't get a good attorney to go against them to get full custody. And basically in the court system, you need to know this, the only time that they'll ever grant full custody is if you can prove there is abuse going on. Some of the court systems are like, oh no, it has to be physical, which to me is like, verbal is worse than physical, and it's the next step to physical. They groom people with verbal to see if they'll put up with it, and then they go physical. The more malignant they are, that's what they do. So so when you're dealing with in a divorce case, you cannot afford not to have an attorney. Do not try to do this yourself for two very good reasons. One, the court system is insane. It is like a foreign language, and it's got its own set of languages and rules and courtesies and ways of doing things and all sorts of stuff that you're not going to be able to absorb in that very short amount of time doing a divorce. That's why you need an attorney. You need somebody who speaks law. Okay. It's kind of like going to a foreign country and not having a guide, right? Or at least not knowing the language, right? Because the law system is like a completely different language. It's like a completely different country. altogether. It's crazy. And so you want somebody who understands the ins, the outs, the manipulations, the tactics, the motions, all of it, you know, the language, the how to do things. You need somebody who knows their way around the court system. You need an expert. You need somebody who is an expert in domestic violence. Okay. You're probably going to want to get some sort of evaluation done, like a psychological evaluation, but here is the caveat to that. And Susanna and I have talked about this. There are so many narcissists in my profession, in Susanna's profession, in the law profession. You got to make sure that the attorney you get is not disordered themselves. If your judge is disordered, it's going to make it harder because they're going to side with the abuser. Okay. That does not mean it's impossible. I'm just saying, be aware of these things. And when you go to get an evaluation done, there's a lot of psychologists, psychiatrists who are narcissists, and they too will side with the abuser. So yeah, you got to be very careful about that. So, and you get with a good psychologist that does an evaluation of the whole family, they should theoretically be able to see the pattern of abuse. You would hope, you would think. Does not always happen that way. I got to warn you. So there is that. Okay. So, all right. What was I saying? I was saying something. Okay. Attachment. So what oftentimes ends up happening with children that are caught in the middle of this horrific divorce between either partners or parents or whatever is the narcissist wants to use the children as pawns. They want to get full custody and they will accuse the target of abuse of being abusive or whatever. And they don't want full custody because they love the children so much. No, 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 no. They want full custody so that they do not have to pay child support, because in their minds, they cannot separate out that child support goes to the kids, pays for their food, pays for their medical, pays for their shoes, pays for their clothes, pays for their outside school activities. It's for the children. So in the narcissist's mind, in the abuser's mind, all they can see is, oh, well, I'm not giving that bitch or that bastard my money. Well, it's not about the money, but in their mind it is. It's about taking care of the kids, okay? So, and I want to make very, very clear, it's not just men who are abusers. Women can be abusers as well. The narcissistic mother is pretty horrible. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So, and they do the same thing. They do the same, you know, sending children back and forth with no shoes and trying to get the other partner to pay for brand new clothes, and they hoard all the new clothes. And oh, dear God, sometimes I wish I could perform slap therapy on all these people. Seriously, it's like, what the fuck are you thinking? Seriously. So what a kid does is a kid internalizes this stuff. Kids are very egocentric. And I don't mean egocentric in, oh, I'm so great. They're egocentric in that they feel that they are responsible for everything that happens. So when a parent plays games like that, is inconsistent, tells the kid they're going to show up and visit them and then doesn't, right? Or promises them things and then doesn't come through. Unrealistic things, like, well, if you just come with me, I'm going to get you a pony and I'm going to do this and you're not going to have any rules and blah, 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 blah. And then the kid gets over there and suddenly it's all no pony, tons of rules, cleaning up, being like Cinderella, cleaning the house and being the maid and whatever, or the butler or whatever, So the kid makes this all mean stuff about them. They internalize. So this is where the inner child stuff, this is what I'm talking about. When a parent is inconsistent, when a parent does not consistently come and visit their children, okay, they're narcissists. Narcissists inevitably, once the kid has outlived their usefulness, like if they can't use the kid to manipulate the other person, if the child is an inconvenience because they've got, polo to go to or whatever bullshit excuse they have, they stop showing up for visits. Oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes, and they'll leave the kid hanging. And so the kid will get all excited. Oh, mommy's going to be here. Daddy's going to be here. I'm going to go get dressed up. I'm going to go, oh, this is going to be great. We're going to have this wonderful time, because every kid wants a healthy, normal parent, whether it's mom or dad, they don't care. They just want a parent that cares, that's on their side, that has their back, that has their best interest at heart. The problem with narcissists is is they don't have the kid's best interest at heart. They have their own best interest at heart. So if it's an inconvenience for them, or if they think that they can screw the other partner by not showing up and picking up the kids, oh, well, you know, I know that Brenda has got some book club she wants to go to, so I'm just not going to pick up the kids. They do shit like that. Then the kid gets all excited and all ready to go, and no parent. The kid starts making it mean something about them. Why wasn't I good enough? That just breaks my heart. So the kid starts going, I'm not good enough. 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 And their self-esteem takes a dive and they start acting out because dad or mom is not consistent. Dad or mom doesn't care. Dad or mom is not there. You know, it sounds like an Austin Powers thing, but it's true. It's like, daddy wasn't there, daddy didn't care. Mommy wasn't there, mommy didn't care. They're not there. They're not consistent. And a child will make it mean something about their own worth in the world. This inconsistency, this is how we get low self-esteem. This is where the low self-esteem comes from. It doesn't even need to be verbal abuse. It's actions. So if the parent's actions are showing that the parent doesn't give a flying rat's ass about that kid, guess what? That kid is going to go, oh, wow, I mean nothing to them. I'm worthless. I'm worthless. I'm worthless to them. That's where low self-esteem comes from. So this is why consistent parenting is paramount. And if your ex is abusive, you fight for those kids. If you can get more than 50-50 custody, fucking do it. Because there's nothing worse than having to do 50-50 custody with an abuser, knowing that they're using these kids as pawns, not knowing what they're telling the children. And oftentimes they'll send the kids over and the abuser will start bad-mouthing mom or bad-mouthing dad or whatever. And that will always backfire because that affects the children. You got to understand, get this through your heads. Do not discuss stuff with the kids that's above their age level because they make it mean something about them. So if you're bad-mouthing mom or dad, they're 50% mom or dad DNA. Hello? So then in their minds, they go, well, do you love me? Am I okay? Am I worth something to you? Because 50% of me is her or him. So you've got to be very careful about not bad-mouthing the other parent. You've got to be really good about making sure they understand. If mom or dad does not come and pick them up, it says nothing about them. It says everything about them. Look, mom or dad have got issues. That's all you need to say. That's really it. That's not bad-mouthing. You're just saying they've got issues, and it means nothing about you. It means nothing about you. You are so worthy, and you work with them on self-esteem, not other esteem. So when we're little kids, how we learn self-esteem is by getting other esteem from the parental units. But when the parental units are damaged beyond repair and they can't give us approval, that's when we grow up and our inner child is stunted at this time period, and it's always looking for that other esteem, that approval. Where's the approval? Where's the approval? Where's the approval? Where's the approval? So this is why inconsistent parenting is hell on wheels for kids. It is. It's horrible for them. And it's horrible for the spouse or the ex that is, you know, helping these children grow, try to undo the damage, not from necessarily verbal, but from the actions, the inactions of the other parent. So attachment disorders become very, very obvious with kids because they act out. When a kid has an insecure attachment, they're clingy, they're terrified. They're, you know, when they've got an avoidant attachment, they peace out. They're in their room. They don't talk to anybody. They isolate. They, you know, because there's been abuse. So yeah, kids are absolutely affected. It drives me crazy when people talk about stuff in front of children and they go, oh, they're young. They don't understand. Oh, bull tinky. They understand a hell of a lot more than you give them credit for. And here's the thing. Kids are very intuitive. They pick up on emotions. They pick up on facial expressions, tone of voice, the whole thing. They can piece it together. They're not stupid. They're your kids. They're not stupid. They may be young. They may not be cognitively there completely because they're young, but they get it. Trust me. Trust me on that one. So I just wanted to talk about, you know, when we have to leave an abuser, when we are breaking it off and there are children involved, your priority is those kids. You've got to make sure that they are secure, that they understand that they are loved, that they are wanted, and that if this other person does not take the time to be with them, it speaks volumes about them, not about the kid. So you really separate that out without bad mouthing, and it's a tightrope walk, it is, and you let the child know that they are valuable and loved and everything else. Now, there was a couple of articles I wanted to share with you. Okay, so this is in counseling today. So this was more about adopted children that have an insecure attachment disorder. Okay, that happens too when a child is not. Here's the other thing. So when we're with a narcissist, okay, oftentimes what I hear from parents is that the relationship was okay until the kids came along, and then the narcissist came unglued because now your attention is completely diverted to the child. And that goes male or female. It's not just the men who are, you know, the narcissist. It can be females as well. And so once the children came on board, it was like, oh, well, you're spending too much time with the kid, and oh, you should just let them cry. I think we've talked about this. So when children are not comforted, when children are not soothed, they very quickly get the message non-verbally that they are not worth being soothed. So that creates attachment disorder. That creates a sense of unsafety in their world. So this article is really good. It's called Working with Foster and Adoptive Families Through the Lens of Attachment. If you want to learn more about attachment, this is a great article. It's in Counseling Today. It's in the October 2018. So I was catching up on reading, obviously. Anyway, but this is really good because it talks about the insecure attachment. It talks about the secure attachment. It talks about the fearful attachment, you know, the whole thing and how to work with it. So there is that. So the other thing, the other two articles I wanted to bring up was this one talks about emotional contagion. Emotional contagion. So what that is that when we are in an abusive household, we try to match whatever energy is going on at the time, whatever emotion is going on at the time. And we are very hyper vigilant as kids about how the abuser is. Is the abuser okay? Are they happy? Are they satisfied? Am I going to get beat? Wait a minute. How do I keep this from happening? So everything, every ounce of energy is directed onto the abuser, trying to make sure that the abuser is happy or satisfied or okay, or not going to beat them, not going to punish them, not going to whatever. And so there is a book that I wanted to, An Abbreviated Life by Ariel Levy, L-E-V-E, Ariel Levy, I think it's what it's pronounced as L-E-V-E. It's called An Abbreviated Life, and it's a heartbreaking portrait of how vulnerable we are, especially as children, to the force of others' turmoil. She was subsumed by her mother's feelings. The mother was a narcissist. And desperate to anticipate the waves before they hit, careful not to make things stronger when they did. So basically what ends up happening to children that have got an inconsistent parent, a parent who's all over the board, you know, malignant borderline, malignant narcissist, covert narcissist, whatever, we start anticipating, how are things going to go? We start trying to mind read. We start trying to go into the future and go, okay, well, if I just do this, I can avoid this. Or, okay, he or she is going to come unglued and it's going to be really bad. So if I just do this, maybe the wave won't be a tsunami. Maybe it'll just be a smaller tidal wave. So it creates hypervigilance. It creates anxiety. So these children that are parented inconsistently grow up and into CPTSD, like nobody's business, panic attacks like nobody's business, anxiety like nobody's business, insomnia like nobody's business, sense of doom, sense of, foreshortened future, sense of fear, agoraphobia. So yes, this is serious, guys. I cannot stress enough that it is not okay if you know this person is an abuser to just go, all right, I'm going to give him everything. Okay, and this is something that Suzanne and I talked about, and I'm quickly running out of time, and we're going to do questions here pretty soon. But Suzanne and I talked about how when you're in the middle of a divorce, and this goes for men, this goes for women, and you're fighting an abuser, male or female, doesn't matter. You are so worn down that you are willing to sell the farm, sometimes quite literally, just to make them go away. So you give them everything in the hopes that they're going to go, oh, I have enough. I'm going to be gone. Don't kid yourself, guys. These people are cray-cray. When I say they are cray-cray, I am not kidding you. The world is not enough. That's a James Bond title. But the world is not enough. Seriously. And so they will take everything that you've given them and then demand more. They don't care. They want everything. They want you dead, guys. I cannot stress that enough. So when you go into a divorce situation and you're like, oh no, I'm just going to give them everything. I just want them to go away. I know you want them to go away. I know you do. I know you do. Trust me on that one. Guess what? They're not going to. So why the hell would you shortchange yourself and give away the farm, especially if you've got kids, and allow them to have visitation if you know they're abusive? WTF. Do you see where I'm going with this? You cannot just give in. I know you're tired. I know you're worn down. I know you're exhausted. I know these people are heinous and monsters and exhausting and everything else, and you just want them to go the fuck away. They're not going to. They're not going to. And you cannot sacrifice your well-being in the future and your children's well-being in the future just to make them go away. Because guess what? They're not going to. If it was that easy, trust me, every attorney on the face of the planet would be like, okay, give them everything. They're going to go away. Okay, bye-bye. It's not going to happen. These fuckers drag out divorces for years if they can. Motion after motion after motion after motion after motion after motion until finally the judges get sick and go, no, we're done. That's usually what ends up happening. And they try to wear you down and they want you to give away the farm because they think they deserve everything. They have a sense of entitlement like nobody's fucking business. Hey, sorry, I'm a little passionate about that. It drives me crazy because I see men and women shortchanging themselves, shortchanging their children in order to appease an abuser. Now, here's something else I wanted to talk about. So, okay, so this article is, this one is in the Psychology Today, August 2019. So it's in the most recent Psychology Today. So if you're interested in reading this article, it's a really, really good article. It's about emotional contagion. Kids pick that up because they're hypervigilant. They're hypervigilant. They're trying to figure out what their abuser is doing and how to make them happy. And so their whole life becomes centered around the abuser. No bueno, you don't want that. And then this is another article on neurological behaviors and impact of uninvolved fathers, okay? And the same goes for moms. I don't know why they just singled out dads, because the same goes for moms. So what I wanted to read you was, all right, as a father's involvement in his children's life is important for many reasons. Research summarized this year by the Federal Children's Bureau, it was noted that children of uninvolved fathers have less self-confidence, have weaker problem-solving skills and more behavioral and learning problems because of the attachment issue they're acting out, have a 68% higher risk of later substance abuse problems because of the mistaken thought and the mistaken belief that they are the problem, that I'm not good enough, that I'm worthless, that dad doesn't love me, mom doesn't love me. It's not just dads. I don't know why they singled out dads. This is true of women too. They have a lower school performance and lower overall academic achievement. In addition, daughters of uninvolved fathers tend to have delayed or impaired emotional development and poor quality future relationships, groomed to find somebody just like dear old dad that's going to ignore them or abuse them or neglect them or whatever. Whereas sons of uninvolved fathers have weaker gender role identity. At this time, little is understood about the impact of uninvolved fathers on the lives of special populations such as transgender and non-binary children. So anyway, this is a really good article. If you're interested in this, this is in Counseling Today. This is June. This is from this year, June 2019. All right, so one last thing I want to talk about before I dive into questions. Bad relationships affect kids. If you are diving from one bad relationship into another, and there is a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a step-parent involved, and they are abusing your child is going to end up messed up, okay? I cannot say enough about that. Believe your children. I think I did a post on that earlier this week. If a child comes to you and says, hey, so-and-so is making me uncomfortable, so-and-so is doing this, so-and-so is saying that, believe your kid. Believe your kid. You know, if you don't believe your kid, you're reinforcing the fact that you think they're worthless. So, and what I often see happen is, especially with people who are egoists and low self-esteem, no self-esteem, and they are desperate to keep the abuser in their life because, oh my God, if this person goes, I'm going to die alone. I'm going to be all alone. I'm going to be terrible. They will throw their own kids under the bus. They will do this to adult children as well. They will, and Nancy, my sister, and I were talking about this last weekend. What my dad did is he discarded my sister, her brother, obviously his wife. He got his new supply, my mom. He had kids with her. I'm the youngest. And he literally erased Nancy and her brother from the books. Like they didn't exist. Like I had no contact with them. Like I think it was like 44 years since I saw Nancy last. We just got together last weekend, which was amazeballs, and she has collies and it was amazing. But the thing that made me the saddest is that she was talking to me about animals, right? So she and I are both animal lovers, cats, dogs, doesn't matter. And she was talking about Puff, who was my cat, I thought. Turns out it was her cat that she couldn't take with her to an apartment. So she asked my dad if he could, you know, if she could leave Puff at the house. And when she got settled, she would come back and get the cat. So Puff came to the house. I was like, I don't know, 4 or 5. And of course I fell in love with Puff because Puff was this Persian and she was just, oh my God, she was adorable. And she was smart. She would jump up on the cooler and we had a set of bells on a string and she would ring the doorbell to come in. I thought that was hysterical. Anyway, so I thought she was my cat. And so Nancy was talking and she's like, yeah, Dad, you know, I came to get Puff and Dad said, don't you dare. That's Chris's cat. And then Nancy, oh God, this just breaks my heart. Nancy said, you know, his second family. And I was like, oh shit, that's me. I'm part of the second family. Fuck. You know, so he replaced her. And I don't blame her for being hurt. I don't blame her for being angry. I don't blame her for feeling betrayed and abandoned because she was. So what these fuckers do is they don't care about the kids. They don't. When they divorce and they get the second family, they literally erase. It's like these kids never existed. Never existed. And they don't care about their feelings, their wants, their needs, their desires. They don't care. So when Nancy and I were talking, and I'm going to write her a letter, and because I just want to let her know how much I love her and how sorry I am. Oh, Jesus, I'm going to cry. I'm sorry. How sorry I am that my asshole of a father replaced her and made it a point to say my new family, my second family. You know, no wonder Nancy and I didn't have a relationship. You know, that would be really hard to overcome. And now that we're adults, obviously it's a little easier. But as a kid, what does that say? What did that tell her? You know, I mean, how horrible. Who does that? Well, narcissists do. So they do. The second family replaces the first family completely. Oh, my new family. And they will do this with children that are not even theirs. So they come into the supply already has children. They then take on the children as if they are their own. They dump their own children, ignore them, pretend they don't exist, and now they have their second family. Wow, really heinous. So, okay, sorry I went over on that, but I think it's important to talk about that. You got to believe your kids. You've got to understand that, you know, when a narcissist comes in and gets the new family, the new supply, there's a whole other family out there that has been erased, and kids out there that have been erased. And there's a huge amount of damage done. And yeah, not okay. So, all right. All right, questions. All right. Previously, you mentioned that if a child has heard untruths from one parent, you should tell them not to listen to just one side. Then should they listen to both sides? What should we advise a child to do? I'm not sure what you are referencing with that. If you're dealing with a narcissist, they're going to lie no matter what. So like, okay, I'm not sure what you mean by that. But okay, you previously mentioned that if a child has heard untruths from one parent, you should tell them not to listen to just, oh. So what I meant is if they go over to the abuser's house and the abuser is just spewing, right? Encourage them to also hear your side of it, you know, because but in a good way. You don't want to badmouth the other person. So you're encouraging them to listen to both sides of the story and not put them in the middle. And the other thing you can tell them is, you know what, honey, this is not your issue. You don't need to deal with this. It's a need to know basis. You're 7. You don't need to know. When you need to know, I will let you know, and you also do by actions. What do my actions tell you? Do I love you? By my actions. Can you tell by my actions that I love you? You make the connection with the actions, because narcissists are masters at verbal, love bombing, love bombing, love bombing, love bombing, love bombing. So when you get the kid to start thinking about actions, they're going to quickly see the actions of the narcissist do not match the words coming out of their mouth. Actions and words have got to match. If they don't match, it's not going to work. They're lying. So when your words and actions are matching, you're showing the child that you're trustworthy. So you want to make sure to do that. I hope that answers the question. You do it age appropriate. You let them know there's 2 sides to every story, and you let them know, hey, this is not your problem. Dad shouldn't be talking to you about this stuff because it's not your problem. You don't need to worry about it. But narcissists like to involve the kids. They like to have triangulation of communication, and they want to try to ruin the relationship. That it's a power thing. It's a power thing. See, I took your kid away from you. They love me more than you, blah, blah, blah. It's a competition. So yeah, so all right. What is the difference between a repressed childhood memory and false childhood memory, and how do you tell the difference? Okay, so the false childhood memory thing came out of the whole McMartin preschool case. So what happened is that some thing happened, I don't know what exactly, it was in the 80s, and then they got all of these kids to go under hypnosis. But the problem of it is when they went back and they listened to the transcripts or they listened to whatever, they were leading questions. And when you've got somebody under hypnosis, they're suggestible. So a false childhood memory is somebody who plants a childhood memory. Do narcissists do this? Yes, they can. They will repeat a lie as if it's the truth over and 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 try to get you to believe it. How do you know whether it's a planted memory by the narcissist or whether it's a real memory? Real memories come unbidden. They're just there. There's no block to them if you've had a healthy childhood. If you've had an unhealthy childhood, the narcissist will push their point of view. Well, that never happened. I never said that. No, this is how it went down. This is what happened. So they do it by repetition. Okay. It's brainwashing. So you can tell the difference, because if your narcissist is saying something over and over and over and over again and they're abusive, well, then their version of the truth is obviously not the real one. So a repressed childhood memory is something that's traumatic usually, and we repress it in order to survive it. So for example, horrific abuse happens. Most kids report that when they're being beaten or when they're being raped, that they've watched it from the corner of the room. They dissociate because their brains can't cope, their bodies can't cope. So the only way to survive it, check out, watch it from the top of the room. So dissociation. So, and then we repress it because it's like, okay, I couldn't cope with the actual event. I'm not going to be able to cope with the memory. So I'm just not going to, it didn't happen. And then eventually though, as we get healthy, as we work on CPTSD, as we work on the fact that our parent was abusive or we were raped or whatever, the memories start flowing naturally. And yeah, is it distressing? Yeah, it can be. Absolutely. Because the amygdala is involved and we're kind of reliving it. These are the flashbacks. It can cause dissociation again. That's why you've got to get with a really good therapist to help you through the remembering stuff. So, because it's going to happen. It'll come out in dreams. It'll come out, something will trigger it. A smell, a sight, a sound, something, a taste. It'll trigger it and it'll come unbidden. So that is the difference. I hope that helped. My father was an abuser. My mother divorced him, but I don't have any memory of him. Does this mean that I won't know how to have a true relationship with men? How do I deal with this? Well, okay, it depends on how old you were when the divorce happened. Sometimes divorces happen when the kid is like really, really young, like 1, 2, that type of thing. And the dad pieces out, he just doesn't have anything to do with the kid. Like he's gone, gone. So what really affects how to have a good relationship with anybody is you. It's like, okay, so you had your mom. Was your mom supportive? Were the aunts and uncles supportive? Did you have good relationships with them? If you've had good relationships with other people, I think you're going to be okay. The dads are important, yes, but if they were absentee, like just gone, then, you know, you learn how to have relationships with other people, you know, kind of thing. And it's self-esteem. It's working on self-esteem, that kind of thing. The most damaging is if the dad was there and abusive and you've blocked it, that needs to be worked on. Or if the dad was inconsistent, they're not there, not always picking you up, you know, unreliable, that kind of thing. That can cause some later issues in life. So there is that. I would deal with it by absolutely getting a therapist and working on that, seeing if it's, you know, if it's really that you don't remember him, were you just too young? Was there something traumatic? What was going on? That's what you got to work on. Okay, where is this thing going? Hold on. Just want to make sure there's no, oh, there we go. My ex put us through hell for 3 years. Oh, stop it. Stop. There we go. My ex put us through hell for 3 years of our divorce process. 3 years, guys. Did I mention they drag it out? He said we were a package deal, and if I divorced him, he divorced the kids. So that's a threat. That's an absolute threat. It's like, if I can't have all of you, I don't want any of you. I never badmouthed him, and now they are adults, and they once again have a relationship with him. They have never asked me why I divorced him. I think my daughter gets it, but I don't know about my son. Should I discuss it with him? No. Why are you? What's the point? Why are you doing this? You're doing this for you, not for him. Just want to be clear about that. When kids want to know something, they ask. They do. Mommy, where do babies come from? You know, they ask. They ask. So, you know, what you could do is you could say something like, hey, if you ever want to know anything about it, I'm open to it. I'm okay discussing it. You could do that. But it sounds like you're wanting him to ask you for you. So, because you're worried that he's falling in line with the ex. So you just leave it open. Hey, if you ever want to know about my relationship with your dad, I'm totally open to talk to about it. But if he doesn't want to know, then he doesn't want to know. And if he wants to know, he'll ask. So there is that. Friend's mom is abusive and keeps threatening to kick him out of the house every time she is not pleased with him. How do you help a kid understand that he is loved and valued the way he is? Okay, well, okay. So the first thing that popped into my mind is that the LGBTQ community, those kids get kicked out at a huge rate, way higher than straight kids. So and abusive parents usually are non-tolerant of LGBTQ. They usually are Bible thumpers and or communal narcissists, and they kick the kid out. So you get them support. You turn them on to support groups. If they're underage, there's not much you can do because you can't really do much with minors, you know, unless they declare themselves emancipated, which would be nice. But how do you help a kid understand that he's loved and valued the way he is? You just tell them, you know, it's like, I see your value, you know, and it's too bad other people, other relatives cannot, but I see your value. You're a valuable person. You're worthy. You're this, you're that. Get them the Self-Esteem Workbook. Get them to work on the Self-Esteem Workbook. That would be really good. Okay, my mom thinks it's okay for me to have a relationship with my nieces, even though I refuse to have one with their mother, my abusive sister. Is she right? Well, okay. Do you want to have a relationship with your nieces? It's going to be kind of hard to have a relationship with their nieces if they're underage and it's your sister. Babe, you do what's right for you. If your sister is abusive and you want nothing to do with her, then have nothing to do with her. You know, if you want to have a relationship with your nieces, you're going to have to figure out how to do it without having contact with your sister. So I'm not quite sure why you're allowing your mom to dictate who you have relationships with. That's something to think about. So if somebody's abusive, it doesn't matter whether they're family or not. You know, again, if you were not related to these people, would you have anything to do with them? And if the answer is no, act accordingly. Okay. You don't have to be around abusers. Now, the sticky wicket is that oftentimes they will have great kids and you'll want to be around them and you can't because of the abuser. So you kind of wait until they're adults and then you make the offer. It's like, hey, come to coffee. I would love to see you, that kind of thing. So something very similar happened to me. My brother from that first marriage had kids, and he told the kids I was the devil and this, that, and the other thing. And I had to basically wait until they were adults and then float out an invitation. And now we're all really good friends and travel together. So, it's a thing. It's a thing. It's just a fucking thing. So sorry. Yeah. Wait until they're adults. If the person is abusive and you can't handle being around them, then don't. You don't have to, and then you can wait until they're older and then you float out an invitation. It's like, hey, I'd love to see you. Let's go do coffee. Because then you're all adults and the abuser really has no say in it, unless the kids are completely brainwashed, in which case, you float the invitation, see if they're brainwashed. If they are, okay, wait another 10 years, do it again. That's really all you can do. It kind of sucks. So, all right. How do you overcome lack of self-confidence and lack of self-love without working with a professional, as I do not have access to one? Okay, so self-esteem is self-esteem. It is just that tiny little voice in your head going, I like you. Good job. Keep going. Oops, you fucked up. Okay, make amends. Forgive yourself. Move on. So you work on that by doing positive affirmations, I statements. I am lovable. I am a good person. I am smart. I am kind. I am. I ams are very powerful. So you work on positive affirmations for yourself. If you can look in the mirror, and I talked a little bit about this last night when I posted my last video. If you can look in the mirror, you do mirror work. So mirror work is looking in the mirror, making eye contact, going, hi, good to see you. Have a great day. You just programmed your subconscious to have a great day. And then you give yourself permission. I give you permission to like yourself. Boom, walk out the door. Now, if it is to the point where you cannot even make eye contact with yourself, like looking in the mirror is like, oh God, no, because you're saying so many mean things to you, then you just do it verbally. Okay, hi self, hi Chris. Wow, I really like you, or I really think you're okay. Start with okay. If you can't get up to like, start with okay. If you can't do okay, find something about you that you like. Okay, and you just emphasize that and keep going from there. So you start saying good, kind things to you. We need to start programming this interior critic to be something other than just mean and nasty and vicious. We need it to suddenly become, nice. So you got to put the smack down on it. Every single time this thing says, oh, why did you do that? You're so stupid. You're not good enough. Blah, blah, blah. What if? Thank you for your input. Shut the fuck up. Why? Because you say so. You're the boss. I say so. And then you replace it immediately with a positive. I am good enough. I don't need to live in a future that has not and probably will not happen. So fuck off. What ifs? Why? Because I say so. I'm the boss. Does that make sense? So you be the boss of that. If you can do mirror work, do mirror work. If you are, if you can get a hold of a self-esteem workbook, there's a whole bunch of them out there. There's one called You Are a Badass. I thought that was a pretty cool title. And then there's the other one that's the Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi. It's a great workbook. Everybody I know work it. It's a great book. So you start writing yourself love letters. What do you love about you? What do you like about you? What are you okay about with you? What makes you you? What makes you unique? What do you love? What is good about you? So you start doing the things that your parents should have been doing when you were growing up. This is reparenting yourself, basically. You can do guided imagery. There's another one. You can do guided imagery. So in your mind, you go somewhere beautiful. You imagine yourself sitting on a beach or in a chair somewhere and you're comfortable and it's safe. And you call the little you to you and your little child, your little inner child, however old you were when you did not get what you needed. Have them come sit on your lap, hug them, hold them. Tell them how amazing they are. Oh my God, you're such a great kid. Oh my God, I love you. Thank you so much for growing up into such an amazing adult. And I know that's going to sound egocentrical and it's going to sound, oh my God, I can't do this. Take a deep breath, honey. It's okay. This is what self-esteem is. Telling yourself you're okay. Okay. Narcissists, what they do is they tell themselves they're okay when they're not. Okay. We tell ourselves we're not okay when we really are. So, so you got to start loving your inner child, re-raising your inner child, asking them what they need. I just need to be held. I just need to be loved. Okay, I'm right here. I'm here for you. I've got you. I got your 6. We're good. And I need you to let me be the adult. You don't get to run the show. I do. And it's okay. So you gentle with you and repair it yourself. That's what you got to do. Okay. So books, get the books. Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Shoraldi. You Are a Badass. Don't know who wrote it. The Disease Please, Harriet Breaker is a good one to make sure you're not being codependent. Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor. That's another great one. Start working on your inner child. Start reparenting yourself. Do mirror work. Do guided imagery. Remind yourself of how amazing you are. You are a child of the universe. You are worthy of love. It's okay. So yeah, that type of stuff. Can abusers break their victims beyond repair? Whew. Yes. Usually it happens with kids, which is why I wanted to do this video on why this is so dangerous for kids. If a child is young and the abuser is relentless, and that kid is the identified scapegoat, and they're beating them, and they're verbally beating them, and they're emotionally beating them, and they can, absolutely. That kid becomes an echoist. Okay, if I just make myself small enough, they'll stop hitting me, they'll stop yelling at me, I'll be okay. So they make themselves incredibly small, and then they truly believe that they do not deserve anything good. And it's almost a relief to be with another abuser that makes all the decisions for them. So Dr. Malcolm was right. It's you know, echoists become small, and the abuser makes all of the decisions, and they're happy because now they're not responsible for anything, and hopefully they won't get into trouble. But it never works out that way. So it's like no matter how small they make themselves and how much they hand over control to the abuser is still going to rage. The abuser will come up with some excuse. It's never going to be good enough. Again, just like giving them the farm, it's never going to be good enough. You can never be small enough. You could be Ant-Man and you would never be small enough, ever. He's cute, by the way. I just wanted to let you know. Anyway, so, all right. Yes, they can break their victims beyond repair, you know, although if the target of abuse, who is an echoist, figures it the fuck out and gets into therapy and starts working on it, then yeah, they can heal. But generally, they make themselves so small and they've decided that they're going to die young and that there's no meaning to life and I might as well just live my life out the rest of my life this way. You know, they don't get help, they don't get better. So really, it's all about getting help. Yes, you can heal if you get help and you're not a goddamn narcissist. If you're a narcissist, stick a fork in them, they're done. Okay, if you're a malignant borderline, you're done. If you're the witch, the queen, you're done. Okay, because they're enjoying it. They enjoy it. They enjoy inflicting pain and suffering. All right, can abusers break their victim beyond repair? Yeah, they can. If the target of abuse does not get help and stays with the echoist thing of I'm going to make myself smaller and give you all the power and hopefully you won't rage at me. Oh my God, you're raging at me. I'm just going to die this way. Get help. Get out. Do something. Save yourself. You're going to have to be your own superhero. Speaking of Ant-Man. All right. All right. I have trauma from when I was somewhere between 2 and 4 years old. I have memories from that time, but not of the trauma. Any chance I'll ever remember it? Do I need to address this? Okay. Sometimes, like I said before, trauma will pop up. It'll just suddenly, you'll have a memory and you'll be like, oh, crap, you know, and there it is. Other times we've repressed it and our brain is going, no, that's too much. Can't do it. Nope. So EMDR is really good for that. EMDR helps process trauma. It may help you remember trauma. I do not recommend hypnosis. I don't. You know, there's a reason the brain is keeping it hidden. So you just let it come naturally. That's my opinion on that. So, yeah, you could remember it. You may want to address it if it's bothering you. Yeah, get with a therapist, a good trauma therapist, and, you know, see what they say. And how is it affecting you? How is it affecting you? That's what you want to work on. It's like either the remembering it or the non-remembering it. How is it affecting you? What is the fear? What is going on? So work with a good therapist on that one. Yes, keep going with the questions. All right. Chris was just asking me, he's like, do you want to keep going? I'm like, yes. It's been 2 years since I quit contact with my toxic family, sexual, emotional, physical abuse. They keep sending my kids cards in the mail and my anxiety level goes crazy when the cards show up. What should I do? Whew. Okay, how old are the kids is one of the questions I would have. What is the content of the cards? Okay, what are they trying to manipulate you through the cards? Are they trying to manipulate the kids through the cards? Are they doing guilt trips through the cards? If any of that shit is going on, you toss them. You don't even look at them. You just toss them. If you've gone on no contact and they are abusive, and if they are using the cards as a way to manipulate the kids to try to get to you, you toss them. You don't have to give the kids the cards. You don't. You don't have to have contact with a crazy grandparent, cousin, uncle, aunt, anybody who's abusive. You don't have to. If, however, the cards are not guilt tripping and not manipulative and not trying to, I don't know, whatever, and the cards are innocuous, you can go ahead and pass them on, you know. And again, the kids eventually will start asking questions. How come we don't go over and see Nona and Papa? How come we don't do that? You know, and then you can kind of go, well, Nona and Papa have got issues, you know, but you, again, don't badmouth. You just need to know basis, that type of thing. So yeah, it really depends on what's being said in the cards. Now, if the cards are not manipulative, hang on just a second. Available on eBay, by the way. If the cards are not manipulative and you get triggered, obviously, because you're having to, either you're reading them to see, make sure they're not manipulative, you have to learn detachment. So it's like, these are just people you know. Yeah, they were your abuser. Yeah, you're no contact with them. It means nothing. It's a card. That's it. And it's a Buddhist principle. It's also a DBT principle. So you got to learn detachment. You've got to detach your emotions from this. But if the cards, like I said, are abusive or manipulative or guilt-laden, or they're trying to get the kids to do something that you don't want them to do, you throw the cards away and you just, you know, return to sender. You don't need them. So there's that. I'm 31 and still just as hypervigilant about how my dad will react as if I was 7 or 8 years old. How does one heal from this? Oh, boy. Yeah, welcome to the club. So basically, when we've got a parent that is non-approving, you know, critical, harsh, mean, vicious, etc., we are hypervigilant about how they're going to react to what we're doing. Again, we have to get to the point where it does not matter. So again, detachment. Detachment. It's like you don't need his approval. You need yours. You need your own approval. You need to approve of yourself. It does not matter what mom or dad thinks. It doesn't. We think it does because inner child, little one, thinks it does. Where is the inner child workbook? Oh, let me grab that. Hang on. Inner child workbook, Catherine Taylor. Get it, work it, live it, love it. There you go. So yeah, it's the inner child, and 7 or 8. So that's the age level that you probably want to focus on when you're working on this. It's like, what happened when you were 7 or 8? Why does this person's opinion matter so much to you? How come you're having a hard time detaching? So get with a good therapist. Start working on this. This is the issue. Start working on it. Start working on the inner child. All right. How do I talk to my older teenage boys about smear campaigns against their mom by their grandfather, who is always presenting them with large amounts of cash? Okay, they're older teenage boys. Okay. Since they are, I'm assuming that they're 17, 18 is what you're telling me, I'm guessing. So depending on the maturity level, 16, 17, 18, you can start talking to them about bribing. You know, it's like, look, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. You know, you can accept the cash if you want to, but I just want to make you aware that your mom is not a bad person, and they're going to say stuff, and just, you know, there it is. So that's it. Narcissists very often do that. That's why I was asking what's going on in the cards in the previous question, because they will do the whole sending the kids cash. Oh, I'm just sending them a present. Oh, I'm just sending them money. Oh, but the implied intent is to manipulate and control. So, you know, that is something that maybe needs to be talked about. Is this a manipulation? Is this a control? What do the kids think? You know, are the kids aware of any, you know, is grandpa saying anything to them? You know, kind of thing. And if he is, then that's the time to open things up for conversation about smear campaigns and, you know, And here's the thing, guys, you can accept the cash because you are under no obligation to do whatever it is they think that they're going to do with that cash. They're going to try to hold it over your head. And that's when you go, I thought you said this was a gift. Because gifts have no strings attached, you know, I mean, so there it is. So, but yeah, everything with a narcissist has got a string attached. So just be aware of that. And that's might not be a bad thing to talk about, is gifts that have strings attached. Because that's going to happen throughout life. There's going to be people like that throughout their lives that are going to try to do gifts with strings attached. So, okay, I hope that answered that question. How can I best support an adult child to get the therapy support I strongly think he needs? Okay, how can I best support an adult child to get the therapy support I strongly think he needs? Well, you encourage them to go to therapy. So again, you can lead a horse to water. Can't make them cha-cha. All you can do, this is available on Kindle, all you can do is encourage them to get help. You know, tell them that you'd be happy to go to, you know, go to therapy with them. You know, it's like you do everything you can to encourage them. You give them the benefits of why going to therapy would benefit them. But, you know, there's still the likelihood that they may say no, you know. So you just encourage them. That's all you can do. My 19-year-old daughter has not spoken to her dad since January because she told him to stop yelling one night when we were arguing, and he told her to fuck off. Wow. Now in the process of divorce. Good. Any advice for us? Therapy for everybody. You're going to need support. Your daughter's going to need support. Yeah, really important. And she does not need to talk to them. I'm sorry. If somebody told me to fuck off, then I would. I'd fuck off. Asta, peace out. See where I'm going with that? Yeah, you don't force a relationship on anybody. So if she doesn't want to talk to him, cool. That's her prerogative, because I sure as fuck wouldn't talk to him either. So you tell somebody to fuck off. Okay, just doing what you told me to do, motherfucker. So yeah, don't force it. I would say therapy for everybody. That's a really good idea. You're going to need support. She's going to need support. And at some point he's going to, yeah, whatever. Nope. Don't give him a second chance. All right. My mom always told me I'm as bad as my absent dad, who she badmouthed constantly. How do I deal with a lifelong you're bad and you're not good enough? Get with a therapist. Okay. That's definitely going to take a therapist helping you separate out, because this is all enmeshed. Okay. Your mom projected onto you who your dad was. That's not you. You're you. You're you. You know, you're not your dad. And that's your mantra. I'm not a fucking father. I'm not my dad. Okay. You know, so you've got to really get with a good therapist, start working on self-esteem, start working on codependency. You start working on codependency, start working on boundaries. Again, you want to ask yourself, why are you with this person? Why are you allowing this woman to tell you that you're horrible? Why are you still around that? And oftentimes it's because our inner child is so desperate for some form of a parent that loves and cares about us in some way that we glom on to the abuser, hoping that they're going to change. They're not going to change. They're not going to change. You are literally better off prying your fingers off of this, letting that go, and finding yourself, finding a good therapist, finding a group of friends that are loving and kind and supportive and become family. That's what is going to be really healing for you. You cannot heal as long as you are around that constantly. And even when that person dies, if you don't get this handled, this will become your interior dialogue. This will just be like, blah, 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 you're bad, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad. And that's not true. It's lying to you. It's lying to you. So you do all of the mirror work. You work on the self-esteem, Glenn Schiraldi. You get with a good therapist. You learn detachment. You learn to let go. You learn to separate. What is her stuff? What is your stuff? What is your dad's stuff? What is your stuff? And you let it go and you work on you. And if this person is damaging and harmful and hurtful and their family, bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. 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 You don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need it. All right. Let's see. Where is the next one? Okay. Well, God, this thing just went all over the place. Hang on just a second. Okay, my ex-husband last minute called on me and will not take his kids on the weekend. Is it best to refuse to take the kids back until 3 days later to teach him not to bully me? No, you're putting the kids in the middle of this. You're putting the kids in the middle of this. Kids are not pawns. You got the issue with the husband, deal with it with the ex-husband. You do not take it out on your children. You do not play this game. No, absolutely not. So if he's bullying, you deal directly. If you've got a custody agreement, you just send him an email saying, per our custody agreement, you are supposed to take the kids this day, this day, this day. Your kind consideration in this matter would be appreciated, you know, blah, 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 whatever. You never, ever, ever use the children as pawns. Ever. Ever. Even though you're pissed, even though you want to teach him a lesson. No, you're not teaching him a lesson. Narcissists don't learn lessons. I don't know if you guys have noticed this or not. They don't learn lessons, but the kids will remember it. So no, you don't ever do that. Okay. So the cards that we were talking about earlier, they are manipulative and they're trying to get to my kids. I will mark return to sender. Yeah, there you go. You don't need to even open them. Just return to sender. Boom, done. What does one do to heal if both parents are extremely neglectful and inconsistent? If you're an adult, you get the F out. You find yourself a good therapist. You start working on you. You find yourself, you reparent yourself. You get with a good therapist. You start getting with good, healthy friends that are supportive. So you do all the books. You do all of the books. You take care of yourself. What is infantilization? Oh, I just said that wrong. Infantilization. What is it when they make you act like a baby? Okay, so what that is that the parent takes away everything from you. Doesn't allow you to do your own checking account. And of course, people are like, what's a check? Doesn't allow you to do your own banking. Doesn't allow you to drive your own car. Doesn't allow you to have a job. Doesn't allow, makes you completely dependent upon them like a kid. Infantilization. I cannot say that word for the life of me. And it makes you reliant on them 110%. So they do your dishes for you. They, they take care of you as if you were a helpless baby. And it causes the person to have no confidence in themselves. And it causes the person to not be able to cope with adult stuff and to constantly rely on the abuser. But then when the abuser dies or goes away or whatever, this poor kid goes ka-thunk because they don't know how to cope. So that's when the kid is infantized. They are made to be like an infant, completely reliant upon the abuser. And that's no bueno. And it's a tactic that abusers do because they want the kid to rely on them. They don't want to be left. So that's a great way to ensure the kid is never going to leave them because, oh my God, I can't cope with the real world. I got to be over here. Boom. So yeah. When your narc parent steps over you, when you're suicidal on the floor, what do? Holy shit. Okay. Well, if you're an adult, you leave and you get help and you take care of you and you don't kill yourself. That would not be good. So suicide, permanent solution, temporary problem. When they step over you and you are suicidal, that shows no empathy. No empathy. None. So you obviously cannot count on that parent to be supportive, kind, encouraging, whatever. So basically you stop looking to them for support and you find support with a good therapist. You find support with a good support group. You find support with friends. You don't depend on a person that has shown you who they are. Somebody who can step over somebody when you're suicidal, that's cold. That's ice cold, and not ice cold in a good way in Phoenix in the middle of summer. It's ice cold. It's horrible. So they've shown you who they are. You don't go to them for support anymore. You don't share with them intimate details because you know they're going to either ignore it or use it against you. So you get with a good therapist, you get with a good support group, you take care of you, and yeah, take care of you. What if 5 younger siblings weren't abused and keep wanting abusive mother back in my life? Mother keeps abusing me because she's jealous I have a relationship with dad. This is where you draw boundaries, guys. This is the disease to please. This is Melanie Beattie, Codependent No More and Beyond Codependent No More. It's not up to your siblings. It's like, that's lovely. That's nice. I'm glad you think that way. It's never going to happen. This is a line in the sand. Don't fucking cross it. Period. You've got to have good, strong boundaries. If this other parent is abusive, then no. You know, it's like, I'm glad that you weren't abused. I'm glad you've got a good relationship with her. Keep having the relationship with her. This relationship between she and I is never going to happen, because it's never going to happen. So that's a line in the sand. If you want to have a relationship with me, that's great. But stop asking me to have a relationship with her, because it's not going to happen. And if you have to, you get with a therapist and you drag them into therapy to have the therapist explain it to them. So there that is. Okay. I am going to stop for today. I am tired. I've been up since 3:30 this morning. Holy crap. So don't forget to share these videos, guys. Share, 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 share. Share as many of these as you can. I'm going to be posting this up to Facebook. Same name. We Need to Talk with Chris Godinez. My webpage is chrisgodinez.com. If you want to contact me on there, there's a little thing where you can, you know, send a little email or that type of thing. Please keep it short. Please, please, please keep it short. So events on Eventbrite. We still have 4 tickets left for Anaheim. Okay. So Anaheim is going to be August 3rd. San Jose is August 31st. San Francisco is the 1st. Reno is the 14th. Austin is the 19th. San Antonio is the 20th of October, 19th and 20th of October. Where am I? Bahamas cruise is going to be December 6th. So if you have not gotten your payment in, you need to get your payment in for the cruise. Okay. So that drop dead date, I believe, is August, I think, August 1st. So you need to get your payments in for that. Yes, there are tickets for San Jose left. There are a few left. So go to Eventbrite, sign up for San Jose, sign up for San Jose. So August 31st is San Jose, September 1st is San Francisco, September 14th is Reno, October 19th is Austin, October 20th is San Antonio, and then December 6th is the cruise. So if you're interested in coming and hanging out with me, the cruise, that would be awesome. I do believe there's like 5 cabins left. So Chris said that he got 5 cabins. So yes, in Orlando. So I will be doing, after the cruise, I will be doing a lecture in Orlando for those that could not go to the cruise on the 14th in Orlando, December 14th. So we've got that all booked. Okay, kids. All right, that's it for today. Go have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Thanks to everybody that came out to Minneapolis. I'm so amazed that people came from Canada and Des Moines. And oh my gosh, and if you want me in your city, contact chris@mercury.com. Let them know what major metropolitan, I cannot speak anymore, major metropolitan area you want me to go to, because I like to travel. So, but the northern climes I'll do in the summer and the southern climes I'll do in the winter. So, all right, guys, love you. Have a great day. And I will find my cursor. Where did it go? Oh my God. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.